Hey, what's up? So I'm trying to be as consistent as possible here. I want to do a video on my weight loss journey. I'm down 120 pounds. Um, yeah, it's been a long road. I was at 280 plus. I stopped weighing myself at 280. I couldn't tie my shoes very well, and that's when I was like, this is enough. The heaviest I ever was before that was like 230, 240. And then I went down to 160 and then I regained it. Like I gained like 120. Um I'll talk more broadly and more like categorized later on. But I'll just give a rundown of like the entire journey. Uh Once I hit 280, I was off work for like a year and a half, 2 years. I can't remember. I was working online a bit and I was off for like 2 years. So like from physical labor, like my typical. I went back into the oil field and it was a nightmare my first few months. I cut like 40 pounds in a few months. I went down to like 240. But yeah, like depression and just having a horrible diet and not working out while I was off work put the weight on. Like I went down to 240, and intermittent fasting was an amazing tool. I was doing 12 hours off, 12 on, and then I went up to 16. Sometimes I push it to 20 hours off, 4 to 8 hours on, which means you have nothing but water and black coffee on your off hours. And I still practice this to this day. It's a big part of my regimen. And I went down to about 210, and then I was laid off of the oil field, and I went back up to 240 during the pandemic. And I was like, man, this isn't happening again. So I started low carb, like keto, low carb. I'm really dirty with it. Like I'm not full on like strictly 15 grams of carbs. I just cut out the sugars and I try to maintain low carb, like a lot of meat, broccoli, cauliflower, light on the fruits, but I incorporate strawberries, blueberries, almonds. You just got to do your research, and it works. Just cutting out the sugar alone works amazing. And people will say like, oh, cholesterol, like don't just eat fast food burgers and stuff. There are people that do that, like bacon nonstop. I don't agree with that. You want to have a clean diet, right? When I say dirty, that means like I don't strictly follow like 15 grams or less. I try to keep it low, but you can also do low carb, like 50 or less, right? Just cutting out the sugar is the main source of your carbs, like sugars, your breads, your sodas. No, I wouldn't even recommend drinking diet soda. Like one here and there as a treat's good. But like spring water, black coffee, and then you want Powerade Zeros or Gatorade Zeros, the zero sugars, because there's no carb count really. And there's electrolytes, which sodium can be an issue on this diet. You got to research that. And you need your electrolytes. So I drink like 1 to 2 a day. You get used to the taste. Your taste buds will switch, you know what I mean? Like stuff that I couldn't imagine before that would taste disgusting, like water protein shakes. Your average person would throw up drinking them. I love them. They're like a treat now. Powerade Zeros are amazing to me. Your regular Powerades and Gatorades are loaded in sugar. Avoid them like the plague. There's a lot of sugar in a lot of things, even milk. So avoid all those things. I don't know. I went down to 210, back up to 240, and then keto and fasting got me back down to about 210, 200-ish. Then I went back to work again in metal fabrication, and I dropped down to like 170 relatively quick in several months. I never lost the weight too quick. You don't want to do that either. That can be really bad for like loose skin and stuff. It was very gradual, 2 pounds a week at most. Sometimes I'd plateau and be even, but on keto, I never gained weight. Like it was flat or down a pound, flat, down 2-3 pounds. You know what I mean? Each week or each 2 weeks. And it works, just cutting out sugars. It's hard, but I cleaned out my entire freezer and fridge. I donated food to like family, and I just went with like meats, broccolis, strictly low carb, and it worked. And that's what I still buy today. I've been on keto or low carb rather for like a little over 2 years, and it has definitely gotten me down. Now, I was around 180 when I quit drinking, and I dropped like 10-15 pounds so quick when I quit drinking. I haven't drank in 6 months, but that really, if you're drinking alcohol, like beer, liquor, mixed drinks, that's all sugar and carbs. You got to cut that out. Even on keto, people say, oh, well, liquors have 0 carbs. I even use that regimen. Oh, I'm taking 0 carbs. The diet soda, you're technically still keto, right? But there's a lot of science behind it. The next day after drinking, your body retains fat a lot more. There's a lot of science. It's just bad. Alcohol is bad in general, no matter how you want to cut it. You can say what you want about it. It's terrible for you. And I used to be one of those people that would, make diet mixed drinks and be like, oh, 0 calories and carbs. Well, not calories, 0 carbs. It does mess your fast up no matter what, because you're intaking calories with the liquor. But as far as keto, it technically is like a loophole, but it's not good. And then beer, don't get me started. That's liquid bread. You need to cut beer out drastically. Just dead. It's just empty carbs, straight up. Drinking that. Yeah, fasting. It when I was working second shift, it was a lot harder because I'd be starving when I get home. I hated second shift. So sometimes I'd break my fast, but I stayed on my keto. Trying to remember my eating schedule. It'd be like 11 a.m. to like 7 p.m. Like I'd go off of my breaks at work and my lunch at work. And that's what I would do. And I would fast all the way to 11 in the morning again. Now it's like the opposite on first shift. I won't eat after 7-8 p.m. all the way till 11:30 in the morning. I'll have my meal. I will not eat. It'll just be water and black coffee. My workout routine in the morning. That's another thing. I wake up at 3:30 a.m. and work out. On second shift, I worked out at like noon to like 1 or 2. Now I work out 3:30 to 5. You got to fix your schedule. I did both schedules. You have to make time for yourself and what works for you. I do a lot of weightlifting, and I try to mix in cardio when I have time on the weekends. I should do it more during the week, but my job's very physically intensive, so it is cardio in a way. But I'll do my workouts in the morning. Some people think it's crazy, but I'd rather do it in the morning after I get home in the evening. That's all personal preference. That helps as well. Like burning your fat and fueling your muscle, it definitely helps. Like, and I still have cheat days. Sometimes I carb load too much. Like I will go all out on my cheat days, and it can affect you. Like you have to go back on your diet right away, and you can have what they call keto flu. You can look that stuff up. It doesn't affect me much. You'll get the runs, or you'll feel a little off for a day or two, but I'm so used to it. The longer you can go without having a cheat day, the better, but you don't have to full out. You can have cheat days. Some people don't agree with that. I get away with it. I enjoy it. I shouldn't do it as often as I do, but I'll make sure I really ramp up my workout for 2 or 3 days to really burn those carbs. And if I do retain any fat, I'll burn that fat and fuel my muscle. So yeah, gym is always a good plus. I mean, just cutting out the sugars and alcohol and all this stuff, carbs, you'll lose weight, but you really want to work out too. You don't want to just bank it all on your diet. You want to mix the both, physical and diet. It's like 50-50. So yeah, that's how I did it. It takes time. Like a day turns into a week turns into a month turns into several months, and that turns into a year. And when you're starting out, it seems like forever. Like And you know, I remember being 280, 250, 230, and like you're seeing results from the weight loss, but the muscle and stuff, once you really get your BMI down, your body mass index down, you'll start seeing it. Like every pound I adjust now, it's drastic in the way my muscles look, because the fats, there's not fat anymore. You know, once you hit certain body weight, it shows a lot more. Like, yeah, I had to go through like 80 pounds, you know, to even start seeing any sort of definition. And it's sort of, it'll unmotivate you because you're like, man, like this is taking forever, or I lost 20 pounds and I have another 60 to go. You just got to keep going at it. And it's hard sometimes. But I'm telling you from personal experience, you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can. There were times I was like, man, I'm never going to be able to do it. You know, you gotta keep going, stay consistent, stick to your diet. The diet is a big deal, man. It really is. It really ramped up the weight loss for me. Like just working out and eating like crap. I mean, there was a time I was 170 doing that. And I wasn't fasting. I don't know. I was younger too. Like as you get older, your metabolism slows. Some people have fast metabolisms, you know, but if you're not one of them, you really got to diet, you know. Like if I were to eat like crap for a week straight, I'd put 5 or 10 pounds on it. Over the holidays, I already put weight on, a little bit of weight, you know, and I'm being strict and cutting it back down as best I can. But yeah, I'll talk more on this subject down the line. I'm trying to force myself to vlog a bit more and share my experiences. Since I have the receipts now, I lost the weight. You know, I've always been a gym goer, but that point in my life when I put that weight on, it was like depression. And, you know, I get it if you guys are going through that and you don't have the motivation, but no one's going to do it for you but you. And I'll tell you, you'll be much happier when you take those steps and do it. It'll seem like the world's against you, but progress will motivate you, you know? And when you get there, it's worth it. Looking back, it's impressive. I almost can't believe I was that weight, you know? I can't fathom it. I'll refuse to go back to that. But anyways, yeah, I'll talk more on this. I just wanted to get a brief video out on the weight loss. Intermittent fasting, 16, 8, and then low carb. Sugar is the killer, man. And it's bad for your heart. It's just as bad as cholesterol. So if, you know, my family was all like, your cholesterol levels, well, my lab showed perfectly fine cholesterol. It may be different for you. You know, seek your medical provider on that note. I was a little worried and then my labs came back fine. So I was happy. But that could be, you got to watch that stuff. If your cholesterol gets too high, that can be an issue. But sugar, look up on sugar toxicity. It's terrible for your heart. So my family would be so concerned with my cholesterol, but they're consuming so much sugar that it's affecting their heart in the same way. So it was sort of like, people can be hypocrites when it comes to dieting, you know. But anyways, yeah, take it easy.